Happy Life's Potluck New Year, everyone. It's August 16th. I'm John Paulas, and you're listening to Life's Potluck Buffet. As you'll recall from our New Year's Eve episode yesterday, August 16th is Life's Potluck New Year. As you remember from yesterday, my resolution was to inflict kindness on others, informed kindness, and I got a chance to practice that this morning because a bus was rerouted and someone asked me where it was stopping. And so, as I was walking, I checked on my phone. I checked the transit app associated with said bus. And you know what I found out? I found out exactly how it was detoured. And so I caught up with the person to let them know. And I think I also achieved in making that person's day because they seemed very happy to know where they should stand to wait for the bus. So that was something that a person wanted. How do I know? Because they asked me. And it was something that I was able to do that was really welcome. So far, the first day of the Life's Potluck New Year, and I've already had the good fortune to have a situation where I could inflict kindness on someone and make someone's day. Today's card is card 32. And I've referred to card 32 a couple of times in the past week because we've been working on those work-life pies. You recall those from the two-part episode of thinking of your life as a pie? For the second episode, I talked about that pie on the worksheet representing symbolically 16 hours because I was thinking about work that I was doing while I was awake. That is work that we are conscious of. And so the other 8 hours in the day that I gave to sleep, those are ones where the back of your mind has a full-time job. And that's what card 32 is about. In fact, that's the title of card 32. The back of your mind has a full-time job. So it's kind of nice that we have card 32 for today after we spent a couple of days talking about the front of your mind's full-time jobs. So let me read to you card 32. Ask yourself a question to solve. Then refinish a chair, or run an errand, or take a walk, or do whatever your mind-clearing activity is. While you're doing that activity, the back of your mind is solving the problem. The same is true with dreaming. Conscious problems are often solved by unconscious thought. What activity do you do when you're trying to figure something out unconsciously? While you're doing that activity, the back of your mind is solving the problem. The same is true with dreaming. Conscious problems are often solved by unconscious thought. What activity do you do when you're trying to figure something out unconsciously? Did you think of any? I thought of one immediately because when I was writing the content of this card, I was refinishing some chairs. So that was on the front of my mind about the back of my mind. How do you like that? So if you think back to that pie, my pie had 4 slices. There was family work, self-care work, paid work, and volunteer work. And this activity of refinishing chairs, I would include under self-care work. All hobbies I include in self-care work because hobbies are self-care. They're things that we want to do that we do for ourselves. That's the point of a hobby. I need the refinishing of chairs and other related tasks and hobbies and crafts, as you know, I've talked to you before about how craftsmanship really is my key thing here. All of my hobbies relate to crafts, I feel like. Some of them are more obvious than others. But that idea of craftsmanship is always foremost in my mind, as I talked about it on an earlier episode. So this refinishing this chair while working on these cards was just what I needed, because it allowed the back of my mind to think about strategies for these cards and for the content on them. It was fortunate that it took a while to refinish these chairs, because that gave me a focused activity to distract myself while the back of my mind worked on all of this. The reason I had so much time was because I went to a art store and I bought this really cool spray paint, and I thought I would refinish the chairs with this really cool spray paint. I thought this was going to be like the best. This was going to be the be-all and end-all of refinished chairs. It was a green. It was so cool. Notice I'm talking past tense. The reason I'm talking in past tense is because the chair's current finish had a coating on them that wouldn't let the spray paint fully dry. At least I think that's what was happening. So I spray painted them. I was like, this is just the coolest. I was feeling so good about it, because it combined that like artistic, aspirational nature that I have, and also the crafts person nature that I have. So between the two of those things, I was on cloud 9. Why is it cloud 9? If you know why it's cloud 9, let me know. What's cloud 8 like? Cloud 7? Wouldn't it be great if we had that kind of thing where it's like, well, I'm on cloud 5 right now, Bill. I'm working on it. Well, I was on cloud 9, and I just started to head towards cloud 5, because as the weeks went on and the paint still wasn't drying, I was realizing this paint was never going to dry. And it didn't dry fully. I mean, it dried. I mean, it wasn't like it was wet paint for 3 weeks. It's just that the green kept coming off. If I rubbed a cloth over it, the green a little bit of it would come off. And I was like, oh no, this is the worst thing, because now not only am I going to have to part with this artistic nirvana that I was in, but I was also going to have to strip the chairs, because these were dining room chairs and now had become completely useless as dining room chairs. So what I did was I had to strip the paint off all of the chairs, and now it was that paint plus that coating, which ended up being this kind of waxy coating that the paint wouldn't stick to, and then the paint underneath that, which took a little while and was hard to get into all of the spaces. It involved a lot of paint stripping and a lot of sanding, and it was a process. I don't like to use power tools, so I was doing hand sanding here. I have a feeling if I just used a drum sander or something like that, maybe I could have done this quicker. But, that's not the point of this for me. The point is to make these with hand tools. So anyway, I got that stripped down, and then I put a very light natural stain with polyurethane, so that because I couldn't do, at this point, multiple coats of things were not really in the offing. So you get the point. I had a lot of time to think about these cards while I was doing that, while I was in that process, because I was letting the back of my mind do the work. And that always has great results. If you enjoyed this episode, please give it a like, subscribe, and head to lifespotluck.com for more materials, the cards, and the whole world of Life's Potluck Buffet in one place. So happy Life's Potluck New Year, and I'll see you on the next episode.